A rare missed layup by Tiffany Hayes. Angel tries to say, ball don't lie. Driving the other way, and Martin got a piece of Reese.
Kate Martin just swatted Angel Reese's shot straight back to the bayou. That's right, this game had it all. Martin's block on Reese wasn't just a highlight. It was a bold statement. As Kate Martin's undefeated Laces basketball club went head-to-head with Lexie and Angel Reese's Rose basketball club in the thrilling new unrivaled...
So that was the weirdest game of basketball I've ever seen. That was just genuinely the weirdest game of basketball I have seen in my entire life. And it was the Laces against the Rose.
3-on-3 basketball league. The intensity was unmatched. But that's not even the wildest part. Something happened with Lexie Hull, the breakout star who clinched the last game for Rose. That is everyone buzzing. And don't even get me started on Rose's coaching decisions. The whispers about stat padding yet again, and the drama surrounding Reese's ejection from the game. You're going to want to stay tuned for this one, because whatever went down on that court has left everyone scratching their heads. Ready? Let's dive in.
Go. The better shooting teams here in Miami so far, and two stout defensive clubs. 3-0 Laces, 1-2 Rose, fresh off its first victory of the season.
All right. Let's talk about the Laces. You know what's crazy? These underdogs have transformed into the top dogs of the unrivaled league. Remember when everyone counted them out before the season even began? Well, guess what? They're not just winning games. They're absolutely dominating them.
Laces, awfully impressive start. They shoot the ball well. They boast the top scoring defense in unrivaled.
But that's not even the most impressive part. These ladies are leading the league in rebounds, assists, steals, and point differential. Oh, and they're committing the fewest turnovers and fouls. It's like they're playing on a whole different level. Now, you'd think losing two star players would slow them down, right? Alyssa Thomas and Jackie Young are both sidelined with injuries. That's a tough break, isn't it? Well, apparently not for the Laces. With Kate Martin, Kayla McBride, Tiffany Hayes, and Stephanie Dolson holding it down, they're running like a well-oiled machine.
These four are like a well-oiled machine.
It's not just a high IQ group, but the Laces came in excellent shape. Andrew Wade's club has collectively played 350 more professional games than any other club at Unrivaled. They have bought in. Up by 6 without Jackie Young, without Alyssa Thomas.
You know what's really setting them apart? Their teamwork. It's not about individual superstars here. It's about how seamlessly they play together. One opposing coach even said their teamwork is off the charts, and he's absolutely right. These ladies aren't just passing the ball. It's like they're reading each other's minds out there. Take Kayla McBride and Tiffany Hayes, for example. These two have been absolutely pivotal to the Laces' success. In their last game against the Vinyl, it was McBride who nailed the game-winning shot, with both players scoring over 20. And get this, the entire team is averaging double digits in scoring.
The Rose are now 1-3. The Laces are 4-0. The Laces did not have Alyssa Thomas. Tiffany Hayes was hurt quite a bit. Steph Dolson fouled out. Kate Martin again still can't hit a shot. And Kayla McBride it is between her and Nafisa Collier.
So here's the million-dollar question. Can the Rose figure out a way to stop this unstoppable force? Or are the Laces about to prove once again why they're the team to beat? Because let's be honest, right now it feels like the Laces are playing chess while everyone else is still learning how to set up the board. And this is where it gets really interesting. The Rose just picked up their first win, with Lexie Hull leading the charge. But now, they're facing this Laces juggernaut. Will they stick with what worked before, or will they try a whole new strategy? And what about Angel Reese? Will she rise to the occasion or end up benched again? So many questions, and the court will soon reveal the answers.
A lot of people, whether it's coaches, your coach, other coaches, and even players, have pointed to you as an example of why this is a great format for the WNBA offseason. I mean, what does it feel like for you just to know that you're getting your flowers here and people are recognizing your game and how it fits into this format?
You know what they say about revenge being a dish best served cold? Well, Kate Martin just turned up the heat to scorching. Remember that national championship game where Angel Reese's LSU squad took down Martin and Caitlin Clark's Iowa team? And the post-game antics from Reese? Turns out
into this format.
Martin has a memory like an elephant and wasn't about to let that slide.
Well, that's much appreciated. But I don't know. I've always had confidence in myself of knowing the type of player that I am. But also it's fun because it's 3-on-3 and it's meant to be fun. This is meant to really enjoy the time with your teammates, and like you don't play with these people in the WNBA season, so it makes it really fun getting to know everybody. And
so, picture this. Reese thinks she's about to add another highlight to her reel, goes up for what she probably assumed was an easy bucket. But Martin had other plans. What happened next felt straight out of a basketball fairy tale. If that fairy tale were written by someone with a wicked sense of justice. You see Reese driving in confidently, but Martin steps up, gets her with the body, and what follows is pure magic. Martin didn't just block Reese's shot. She sent that ball flying so far it might have needed a return flight to the arena. This wasn't your average swat. It was a statement, an exclamation point, and a mic drop all rolled into one. It was Martin's way of saying, "Not today, Angel. Not in my house." But here's where it gets even more interesting. This block wasn't just about defense. It was personal. It was Martin's way of saying, "Remember me? I'm not the same player you faced before." And oh, the fans felt it. One spectator quipped, "Oh my, Kate almost sent Barbie back to the bayou." Ouch. This wasn't just one play, though. It was a game changer, a momentum shifter. The Laces, who were already dominating, suddenly found another gear. And Reese? Let's just say she didn't handle it too well. The rivalry between these two was electric. Every time they crossed paths on the court, the tension was palpable. It was like watching two alpha wolves circling, each waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Lead for Rose. Good hands by Reese. Martin makes him pay.
This wasn't just about Martin versus Reese. It was about the Laces versus the Rose. Even with only 4 regular players, the Laces were proving to everyone why they're the team to beat. Meanwhile, the Rose were getting a tough lesson in what happens when you underestimate your opponent. Remember when Lexie Hull was the Rose's golden ticket, the one who could change the game and lead them to victory? Well, things have taken an unexpected turn, and now it's leaving everyone scratching their heads.
Martin gave Tolson a look just to sell out the defense.
Let's take a step back for a moment. Hull just carried the Rose to their first win a few days ago, putting up an impressive 19 points in only 10 minutes. She was on fire, absolutely unstoppable. You'd expect the Rose to fully back Hull after such a performance, right? Think again.
So lads, Lexie Hull played again today. And I would have thought after the last game that she played, Lexie Hull was going to be, in with a chance of being one of the, not main players, but like in a good rotation spot for the Rose.
In their matchup against the Laces, Hull was practically invisible on the court. Just 3 minutes of playing time until late in the third quarter. 3 minutes. That's like having a blazing Ferrari parked in your garage and opting to ride a bicycle instead. This isn't just confusing, it's downright baffling. Why bench your hottest player when you're up against...
I genuinely thought that Lexie Hull was one of the better players on the floor again today for the Rose. And up until late in the third quarter, she had played 3 minutes. She had played 3 minutes up until late in the third quarter. Like, that's just madness. That's absolute madness. given the circumstances that she had just come back off what, a 7 or 19-point game, and her team won
The undefeated Laces. What was the coach even thinking? The Roses' strategy seems all over the place. One game, they're leaning on Hull to secure a win. The next, they're leaving her on the bench. It's enough to give fans whiplash. And let's be real, this decision may have cost them the game. Without Hull's offensive spark, the Rose struggled to break through the Laces' rock-solid defense.
I would have thought that, she would be easily getting her 10 minutes most games, and that there'd be no reason why she wouldn't be playing big minutes. But you can see right here, in the end, it looks like she played okay minutes. But up until very late in this game, Lexie Hull was back to warming that bench. She was back to warming that bench.
But here's where things get even stranger. Despite Hull's limited minutes, her coach, Nola Henry, can't stop raving about her. Henry said, "Lexie, that's just who she is. That's just what she does. At every level, everywhere she's been, she finds ways to make an impact. It may not always show up on the stat sheet, but it definitely matters when it comes to the things she can do to help you ultimately win basketball games." It's a glowing endorsement, no doubt, but it makes you wonder, if Henry believes in her that much, why wasn't Hull on the court when it mattered most?
Lexie Hull was the best player on the Rose on the only game that they've won this year.
So let me get this straight. Hull's coach thinks she's incredible. She just led the team to their first win, and yet she's stuck on the bench? Make it make sense. This isn't just confusing. It's downright infuriating for fans. When Hull finally got some playing time, her performance was electric, like she hadn't missed a beat, ready to set the scoreboard on fire. But instead of unleashing her, the Rose kept her on a short leash.
And she was one of the better players for the Rose down the stretch. But the problem was that she wasn't getting on the court down the stretch. Or until the very end.
So what's really going on here? Is Hull the Rose's hidden gem? Their most valuable asset hiding in plain sight? Or is there something deeper at play that we're all missing? All right, let's shift gears and talk about Angel Reese for a moment, because things are getting wild. Remember how she was hyping herself up for this season? Well, let's just say it's not exactly going as planned.
But, yeah, it is. This was a horrible game of basketball. We just got to be honest here. This was a horrible game.
Picture this. Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed star, the player who's supposed to be leading the charge and dominating the court, couldn't even finish the game against the Laces. That's right. She fouled out in the fourth quarter. And here's the kicker. This isn't even the first time she's been benched because of foul trouble. It's like she's racking up penalties instead of points. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so she's playing aggressive. What's the big deal? The big deal is that Reese spent more time warming the bench than making an impact on the court. Sure, she came out strong in the first quarter, putting up 4 points in the first 4 minutes. But after that, it was like watching a car sputter and run out of gas on the highway. Remember that logo three-pointer Reese was practicing? Roll the footage. It's not quite translating to game time. Let's be honest. When your so-called star player is spending more time on the sidelines than leading the team, something's got to change. And people are taking notice. Jason Whitlock didn't hold back when he called Reese the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball. Brutal, right? But at this point, you've got to wonder, does he have a point?
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills. She has energy. She has an attitude. She'll rebound you the basketball. Great. Nothing else. She has not, she's got self-awareness. She knows that she's not a very good basketball player. That's why she spends so much time half naked and taking pictures and promoting things that have nothing to do with basketball.
You've got to wonder if Reese
is feeling the pressure. With all eyes on her, every mistake gets magnified, and right now, those fouls are speaking louder than any highlight reel. The expectations are sky high, but instead of dominating, she's struggling to stay on the court. And now
she knows it to the point that even when she's on the basketball court, she's aware, like, this ain't really my thing. Let me get this hot potato out of my hand and to somebody that knows what they're doing with it as soon as possible. You got to see this clip. This is a 3-on-3 basketball game. Angel Reese strips a player at one end, runs down court with the basketball, 3-4 steps ahead of everybody, has an easy layup, and throws it to the girl behind her.
in the first quarter, it seemed like Reese was determined to make her mark. She was scoring, grabbing rebounds, and making her presence felt all over the court. But as the fouls began to accumulate, her confidence started to fade. By the third quarter, she had 4 fouls and was playing cautiously, as if every move might lead to another mistake.
It's unselfish.
That's
It's unselfish. Come on.
that she don't want that smoke, Steve. She wants nothing to do with having to shoot the basketball. And I give her credit. It's self-awareness.
and
Then
then
it happened in the fourth quarter, with the game still hanging in the balance. Reese committed her 6th and final foul, and as she walked off the court, her frustration was plain to see. This wasn't just Reese having an off night. It felt like watching a slow-motion disaster unfold. While Reese was fouling out, her team struggled to keep pace with the opposition. It was as if they were playing with one hand tied behind their back, especially with Hull still stuck on the bench. Every time they tried to rally, they'd look for Hull, only to realize she wasn't there to help.
Lexie Hull's minutes drastic go down. Like, we genuinely saw that. And to be honest, I don't know what Nola Henry can do, because very clearly Lexie Hull was in the 3 best players today, but it's like, you can't not play the point guard, as people would say.
So, what does this mean for Reese, Hull, and the Rose Basketball Club? Is this just another rough game, or does it point to deeper issues? One thing's certain: if Hull is the key to victory, then sticking with her might be the smarter move rather than giving Reese another chance. So, what's the final takeaway? The Laces didn't just win a game. They completely redefined the playbook. With only 4 players on the roster, they still managed to dominate the court. Meanwhile, the Rose is left scrambling for answers, benching Lexie Hull after her standout performance was a head-scratcher, and let's not forget Angel Reese, who spent more time on the bench than in the game. Talk about a stunning fall from grace.
We saw Lexie Hull again doing Lexie Hull things, even though she wasn't shooting the greatest. I still thought her defense, especially when she was full court pressing on like a Kate Martin or a Tiffany Hayes, they didn't do much on her. They really didn't. Like, it is not easy to go past like to get past Lexie Hull.
And you know what? This game wasn't just about wins and losses. It was a glimpse into the future of women's basketball. The Laces showed us that teamwork trumps individual stardom every single day. Kate Martin's block on Reese, that wasn't just a defensive play. It was a statement. So, what's next for these teams? The Laces are riding high, proving they're the team to beat. But the Rose? They've got some serious soul searching to do. Between Hull's benching and Reese's foul, troubles, they're looking less like a cohesive team and more like a puzzle with missing pieces. Can the Rose bounce back? Can the Laces keep their dominance alive? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.